AITA for letting my neighbor get towed after he kept stealing my reserved parking spot. I, 31M, live in a small apartment complex with assigned parking. Every tenant has one numbered spot, and mine is right outside my building. It's included in my lease, and I pay extra for it every month. About 6 months ago, a new guy moved into the building across from mine. I'll call him Ryan. At first, he seemed friendly enough. We exchanged a few hellos, and that was about it. Then one Friday night, I got home after a 12-hour shift and found Ryan's SUV sitting in my assigned spot. I figured it was an honest mistake. I parked on the street, walked over, knocked on his door, and politely explained that he was in my reserved space. He apologized immediately. "Oh man, sorry. I thought nobody used that spot because it's always empty during the day." I told him I worked long shifts. He moved his SUV within 5 minutes. No problem. Or so I thought. The next week, it happened again. This time, I texted the apartment manager instead of knocking. She replied that she'd remind everyone about assigned parking. Ryan moved the SUV before I got home the next day. Again, I figured it was over. Then it became a weekly thing. Sometimes twice a week. Every single time, I'd have to knock, call, or wait. He always apologized. "Forgot. My girlfriend parked there. My cousin borrowed my car. It'll only be a minute." It was always some excuse. Eventually, I started documenting everything. Photos, dates, times, screenshots of text messages, emails with management. After about the 10th incident, the manager finally sent him a formal warning. She even copied me on the email. It clearly stated that continued parking violations could result in towing at the owner's expense. Ryan came over that evening. He actually looked annoyed. "Dude, did you seriously report me?" I said yes. He shrugged. "It's just a parking spot." I reminded him that I literally paid for it every month. He rolled his eyes. "You can always park somewhere else." That comment irritated me more than anything. Why should I? For the next month, he behaved. Then football season started. Every Sunday, his friends came over. Guess where they parked? My spot. Every single Sunday. Sometimes 2 different cars in the same day. I stopped knocking. I just called management. Management kept calling him. Nothing changed. One evening, I got home during a thunderstorm after working overtime. There was his truck. Again, the street parking was completely full because of an event nearby. I ended up parking almost a mile away and walking home in pouring rain carrying groceries. When I got inside, Ryan was on his balcony laughing with friends. He actually yelled, "Street parking builds character." His friends laughed. I didn't respond. I simply emailed management another photo. The next morning, the manager called me. She sounded frustrated. She admitted they'd already warned him multiple times. She told me that going forward, if someone was in my assigned space after office hours, I was authorized to call the towing company directly. She even emailed me the number. I saved it. 3 weeks passed. No problems. Then came Saturday. Around 9 p.m., I returned from visiting my parents. Sure enough, Ryan's SUV was sitting in my reserved space. I looked around. His apartment lights were on. Music was playing. Several guests were inside. I considered knocking. Then I remembered every conversation we'd already had. Every apology. Every excuse. Every warning. Every email. Instead, I called the towing company. They arrived in about 20 minutes. The driver checked my lease, confirmed the spot number, hooked up the SUV, and drove away. I watched from my balcony. About 30 minutes later, chaos erupted. Ryan came outside carrying his keys. His parking space was empty. He looked confused for about 5 seconds before completely losing it. He started shouting, walking around the lot, asking neighbors if they'd seen his vehicle. Eventually, he noticed me on my balcony. "You called the tow truck." I calmly said, "I used the number management gave me." He exploded. "You could have knocked." I replied, "I did about 15 times. Then I went back inside. Apparently getting the SUV back cost him nearly $400 between towing fees, storage, and weekend charges. The next morning, he pounded on my door. He demanded I reimburse him because I could have handled it like neighbors. I reminded him that I had. Repeatedly. For months. He said I ruined his weekend. I told him he ruined plenty of mine. He left furious. A few days later, management sent out another email. It wasn't directed at anyone specifically, but everyone knew why. It reminded residents that assigned parking violations would now result in immediate towing, with no additional warning. Interestingly, nobody has parked in my space since. Not Ryan. Not his guests. Not anyone. Now here's the part that's making me question myself. Several neighbors have quietly told me I did the right thing because Ryan had been ignoring the rules for months. But 2 others think I should have given him one final warning before calling the tow truck. Ryan has also been telling people I got his vehicle towed over a harmless mistake. Except, it wasn't one mistake. It was months of repeated behavior after countless conversations, warnings from management, written notices, and every opportunity to stop. So, AITA for letting my neighbor's SUV get towed instead of giving him yet another warning after he repeatedly stole my reserved parking spot.